Okay, so before we take a pause to move forward, I would be really honored if y'all would join me in actually taking a quick pause. Okay, so can everybody close their eyes and place their hands on their lap, palms down. Inhaling, can you open your chest? And exhaling, feel the root of your seat in the chair. Inhaling, can you place your left hand over your heart and your right hand over your belly? Inhale one final time. And exhale. Thank you. So, what are you doing now? That was the question I heard on repeat incessantly after I quit my high-powered job as co-president of Latina Media Ventures. It was a job that I loved. It was my dream job. And just like Mimi said, our mantra there was, you can't be what you can't see. So our mission at the magazine and on the website was really to tell the stories that were not being told about Latinas. The fact that we're highly entrepreneurial, we start businesses at 7 times the rates as non-Latinas. But also to shed a light on the bad stuff too, like the fact that Latinas literally make less than anybody else. 53 cents to the dollar a white man makes. From the outside, my job looked really shiny and glamorous. So if you saw me on Instagram, you would see me at the White House with Barack Obama. He's totally awesome. I was also interviewing celebrities like Jennifer Lopez, proud Puerto Rican, Hillary Clinton, Eva Longoria, Rihanna, you name it, I interviewed them. But what people didn't see was that this job was so stressful because print publishing and media was in a complete free fall. And it was my job to turn the company around. So I was working 7 days a week, 24 hours a day on weekends, much to the disappointment of my husband and my 2 little kids, who were only 3 and 5 years old. I commuted 4 hours a day, and I was literally just busting my butt, trying to launch our website, new digital properties, event planning, everything I could do. And honestly, I was really burnt out. Things came to a head one cold winter night when I had to choose between attending a Christmas concert for my oldest daughter, and this was a concert she was so excited about. She'd been practicing for weeks in her little voice, Feliz Navidad, Jingle Bells, Let It Snow, or I had to go to an important client dinner that I was needed at. What felt like choice was really no choice because I had to go to the dinner. Being the busy, multitasking mom boss trying to do it all, I sent my sister to go to the concert and said, FaceTime me, I'll figure it out. So in the middle of this dinner with all these high-powered executives in this fancy Midtown Manhattan restaurant, I said, I'll be right back. I ran to the bathroom, put on FaceTime, sat down on the toilet, and started watching the concert. And there was something in that moment, which really makes me emotional now, because I should have been there. I should have been watching my daughter, and I had chosen wrong. And it's a choice that we make so many times, right? As busy women, as entrepreneurial women. And when you run your own company, as you know, you're going to make those hard decisions. But there was something in that moment that I had felt that I had made a series of wrong decisions, to be honest with you. And so I decided to resign. I didn't resign the next day. It took me about 3 or 4 months to really get the nerve to do it. I talked to so many people. I agonized. I tied up all these loose ends. And I finally then resigned from my dream job. And I was relieved for exactly 1 day. Because then everybody kept calling me and texting me and DMing me, so what are you doing now? Nobody could believe that I would go from this big job to nothing. That was completely unimaginable. And people kept telling me, really well-intentioned people, friends and family and colleagues and mentors, no, girl, you gotta go big. Now is the time. You have a small window. You gotta go to Facebook. You gotta start your own thing. Go big or go home. But I just wanted to go home and stay home. The thing is, I had been the butterfly. I had flown and flitted and was shiny. But what I wanted and what I needed at that moment was to be the cocoon, just to wrap myself and just fall apart for a while. But nobody allows that. There's not even a name for that. And so I call it honoring the pause. I went to a conference after I resigned, one that I had still booked when I was at Latina. And I went up to like the check-in like here, and they gave me my name tag. And it didn't even have my name on it. I was just the former president of Latina. And I realized at that moment that that's what society tells you. You only are what you do, right? That's the question we ask each other. It's the first question. What do you do? What do you do? Which is so twisted. It doesn't make any sense. Because I didn't want to just be the former or the almost. I didn't want to be a boss. I just wanted to be. Luckily, around this time, because I was really lost and confused, I used to have 3 phones and 2 email accounts, and now I just had stretches of time, and I just felt like I didn't know what was going on. I had a lunch with a mentor. Her name's Nelly Galan. She was here last year, and she's amazing. She's formidable. She's just a Latina leader and just humanitarian that I love. And so Nelly's big sort of claim to fame is that she was the first female president of entertainment at Telemundo, which is a really big deal. She's a trailblazer. And now she's a New York Times bestseller. She has this whole platform called Self-Made, and it's about really empowering Latinas to be rich in every way. So when we were talking and I was saying, I don't know what I'm doing, blah, 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 what she told me, what many people don't even know about Nelly, is between the big, shiny Telemundo and between Self-Made, she actually took a pause for 4 years. And in this pause, she really found herself. She traveled, she got a psychology degree, and when I said, why did you get a degree in psychology? She said, because I want to know myself. She basically took time to find herself, and it was in that pausing, and the dissolution, and the rebuilding, that she was then able to move forward and create this self-made platform. With that tiny, tiny bit of inspiration, I gave myself permission to take a big pause. So for 9 months, I didn't take a job, and I was offered some, which was really great and flattering. But instead, I chose just to find my way. It wasn't always easy, but I did it. So I reconnected with my family. My kids were so happy to have me at home. I became a garden parent at my kids' school. I started cooking again, because I was so busy I would never cook or work out, things I love to do, but that was always last on my list, bossing. I became a vegan, or as I call myself, a legan, because I'm a pretty lazy vegan. I started hiking, because where I live in Cold Spring, New York, is a really world-class destination for hiking. It's one of the reasons I moved there, but of course I never did it. Instead, I would just look at the mountains on my fast-powered train to go to New York City. So I joined a hiking club, and we're called the Hiking Bandits. And it's basically a group of moms. We call ourselves the Bandits because we steal time. We hike before work or in little pockets of time. But on those mountains with those women in nature, I found myself. I reclaimed myself. And it's been one of the most powerful things that I've done. Recently someone gave me a compliment, and they said, "You're so grounded." And I was like, me, grounded? I'm a Gemini, I'm an air sign. People call me a tormenta because I'm always moving around. But what I realized is that's what I had been doing. Probably the biggest reclamation and connection I've made is to my own culture and ancestry. My great-grandmother was a curandera. A curandera is a Mexican folk healer, and it's a medicine woman. It's a sacred, holy place to be. And my entire life I knew about her, but I completely ignored it. It wasn't important. I was too busy bossing to pay attention to the gold that I was sitting on top of. And so by reclaiming that, I've been studying curanderismo, I've been practicing to be a curandera. It's through this rooting down that I actually healed myself. The Aztec word for happiness actually means to be rooted. And it doesn't mean to be busy. It doesn't mean to be successful. It doesn't mean to be rich. It means to be rooted. And I realized that's what I've been doing this entire time, is coming back, gathering myself, rooting down into my ancestry, and really into the truth of who I am. And from that sense of completion, that gathering, now and only now I'm able to move forward in a way that I want to, creating a map that I built and not that someone gave me a long time ago. So my deepest and truest and most rooted advice for all of y'all is to take a pause Take a break. It could be for 1 year, 9 months, a month, a weekend, a day, a moment, just like we did at the beginning. But allow yourself to meander, be confused, go off path, fall apart. Because the truth is, you can only really find yourself after you've been a little lost. Thank you so much.